let's pay homage to the lineage gurus.
敬礼了明和尚，
Homage to the Venerable
敬
Monk
礼
Liao Min.
三家正空上师，
Homage to Master Sakya
敬礼
Tengkong.
16世大宝法王卡玛法，
Homage to His Holiness the 16th
敬
Karma.
礼图登达吉上
And
师，
homage to Master Tupten Dorji.
我们敬礼坛城三宝，
To the three jewels of the altar.
敬礼今天水供主尊
And homage to the main deity of the water offering
阿凡
today.
达拉龙树菩萨。
The Avantara Nagarjuna Bodhisattva.
师母图登西地仁波切，
Simu,
各
Tuten
位
Siddhi
上
Rinpoche,
师、教授师、
all Dhamma masters,
法师、
Dhamma educators,
讲
Dhamma
师、
teachers, Dhamma
助
instructors,
教、
Dhamma assistants,
堂主
directors of
及
temples and
各位
chapters,
同门，还
and
有
all
网络上的同
disciples
门
present here and over the webcast.
今天我们仪会的贵宾是
And our participating VIPs
中
today
华
are
驻瑞典兼挪威代表廖东洲大使及夫人裘迪师姐，
Republic China Missions in Sweden, Norway,
台湾省政府秘书长
Ambassador
郑培福先生及
Mr.
夫人
Daniel Liao
韩
and
木
Mrs.
珍
Liao.
女士，中央研究院
Chief
院士
Secretary
主席
of
教授及夫
Taiwan
人
Government,
陈文
Mr.
文
Zheng
女士
and Mrs. Zheng.
中文会华
From
国
Academia
周慧
Sinica,
芳
Dr.
医师
Zhu and Mrs.
卢
Zhu.
文祥律师、罗日良律师、黄叶琴律
Law
师、
Advisor of a True Buddha
中国中
Foundation,
博士教授
Lawyer
团
Zhou Huifang,
医护
Lawyer
团
Luo
全体
Liang,
成员，
and Lawyer Huang Yueqing.
国立体育大学校长
Professor
依
members
据
in
现
medical
在
groups
场地
of
的
True
主
Buddha
人
School,
高俊雄博士，
National Taiwan Sports University, the principal Mr.
立
Gao,
法委员吴志阳先生代表
the representative of legislator Mr. Wu Zhiyang. It's
桃园市
Mr. Lian.
政府秘书长李宪民先生，
Chief Secretary of Taoyuan City,
桃园
Mr.
市
Li.
政府民政局局长汤慧
Director of
珍
the
女士，
Civil Bureau in Taoyuan City, Ms. Tang.
南投县政府民政处处长吴燕云女士，
Director of a Civil Bureau in Nantou County, Ms. Wu.
马来西亚南都雷洪义先生及夫人，
Malaysia
南地
Datu Mr.
真美
Lei
女
Fengyi,
真美
Mrs.
女
Lei,
马来西亚南都李海安
Malaysia
先生
Datu Mr. Li
夫人
Haian,
南地
Mrs.
李
Li,
青女士及千金
and
李琦
their daughters
李
Li Qi and Li
小姐
Xueli.
马来西亚世界佛教研讨会理事长施兆
Chief
善
of
教
the Seminar on Malaysia's Buddhist Civilization.
印尼大当文化企
From
业董事长
Indonesia,
曾耀
Dadan
乾先生及
Cultural
夫人陈瑞英女士，
the chairman, Mr. Zheng, and Mrs. Zheng.
澳洲太平绅士梁敏豪先
From
生，
Australia, Taiping gentleman, Mr. Liang.
巴西圣保罗大学文学院
From Brazil
陈
University
仲杰
St.
博
Paul's,
士及夫
the
人
College of
陈
Liberal
瑞
Arts,
女
Dr.
士
Chen and Mrs. Chen.
巴西华光言
From Brazil Lotus Light Language Center,
字课堂校长
Confucius Classrooms, the
徐耀
principal,
斌博士
Dr.
副
Qi,
校长梁燕
and Vice Principal, Ms. Liang.
美国夏威夷州驻台
The
代表
representative of Hawaii, USA in Taiwan, the Director Bureau, Mr. Lei.
中文医师林淑华
From
医师
America, Atlanta, Dr. Zhou Han and Dr. Lin
太平
Shuhua.
洋度假村
From America, Guan,
郑怡女
the
士
General Manager of Pacific Villa, Ms. Zheng.
United States California, Los Angeles, for smoker. 加拿大曾
And from Canada,
生
Dr. Zheng Olivia.
罗
From Sweden, 修德
中
堂 Chinese Dr. Luo.
阿拉伯联合大公国皇室利益集团总裁
From United Arab Emirates, the presidents of Greenfield Groups, Miss Lin and Mr. Chen.
新竹华裔
From Hsinchu, a temple Hua Yi Ci Xin Ge,
张当俊
the abbot, Mr. Zhang
淑慧女士，
and Miss Liu.
台湾知名艺人
From Taiwan, the
沙
entertaining
雕艺术家
artist
王
Mr.
仲
Tai
老师，
and sand sculptor
木雕
Mr.
艺术家
Wang,
简正新
wood
先生。
sculptor Mr. Jian.
My University same classmate 朱金水先生及夫人陈泽霞女士，还有王定平先生。华光功德会总会长
From
大叶
Lotus
曼
Light
主持
Charity Society
喜金刚
and the
奖
producer of Great Perfection
制
and
作人
Tavaja,
月上
the producer Vaja Master Lian Yue and the host
师姐
Dharma Sister Pei Jun,
道果严洁金主持人
the host of TV program Lamde and Sutra Prefect
连
Vaja
家
Master
上
Lian Hai, Master Lian He and Master
中
Lian
天电视
Jia,
台给你点上心
the
灵
producer of the TV program from CDI TV Illuminating Your Heart, Rebecca Xu.
My family and the 师母 family 全体家眷。另外，台北市议员王心怡小姐，
From Taipei City Council, Miss Wang.
大家好，大家好，
Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do?
大家午安，大家好。你好，大家好。唔該晒。是那麼香，是那麼笨蛋。どうもこんにちは。サワディカ、감사합니다。
This is greetings in all different languages.
Hola, amigo. Te quiero mucho. Skoyin. Sauji. Merci beaucoup. Doichi. Thank you for coming. Every person, every people, every person. 今天我们在这里做水供。
Today we perform the water offering here of Nagarjuna as the main deity.
水供法
And
世尊的本身的本尊，
this
瑶池金
water offering
瑶池金大天尊，
was
这个水供法 是他讲解出来的。
was transmitted to me by my own Yidam, the Golden Mother. So in Tributa school, we have the water offering that was instructed by Golden Mother. This is very unique and special that it doesn't exist in other schools. And today, the first that appeared was Golden Mother of the primordial Jitpan. And then is something that I would never thought of. Guess who appeared earlier? So let me just say it then. Sakyamuni Buddha, the fundamental teacher. And Mahakashyapa and Ananda that were alongside him. And also Sariputra and Maudagana Kalyana. And the third group that appeared that was Nagarjuna Bodhisattva, which is the Tathagata of the marvelous cloud, self-mastery king, and also Aryadeva Bodhisattva. And also the patriarchs of Madhyamaka, which is Bhivaveka, and also Buddha Palita, and also Padmasambhava, Guru Padmasambhava, and Ishichoka and Mandarawa. And the next one that appeared was Guru Narupa and Marpa. And then Tsongkhapa. And then the last one that appeared. Guess who? So can you guess? You can guess by looking, by having a real vision, or by feeling, or by divine eye. Padma Kumara. So at this grand ceremony, see how many Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Arhats, Prateka Buddhas, all of them, including Golden Mother, who appeared first. Golden Mother of the primordial Jitpan, the Venerable Golden Mother. Yesterday, I have said that in this life,
刚开始一种从小学一直到高中，
from elementary school all the way
我
to
所
high
信仰的
school,
是基督教。
my faith was
我本身是基督教，
Christianity. I
我
was a
是
Christian.
新约前书、旧约前书
So the
我
old
研究，
books and the
那
new
时候是
books
查
of the
经班的老
Bible,
师，
I researched them all.
马太、马可、
Matthew,
路
Mark,
加、
Lucas, John,
使徒行传。
and the
我是
Corinthians.
念这个圣经啊。
Those were from the Bible.
那么旧约呢，从创世纪开始，
And in the old
创世
books,
纪开始，
from the Genesis,
我是研究圣经的。那时候
I
我尊
studied
敬
the
两个人，
Bible. And at that
一个是
time,
伊利亚，
I highly
一个是伊丽莎。
revere Eliah and Eliza,
告
the
诉大
two
家，
prophets.
耶稣从西马
So
拉
let
雅
me
山
know,
下来的时候，
when Jesus Christ came
穿着
down
白色
from
的
the Himalaya,
袈裟，
he wore the white robe,
他更换的就是我们的喇嘛装，红色的袈裟。
and
他
then
只有这两套袈
he
裟，
also had
一个
another
白色的
set
袈
of
裟，
the
是
llama
藏
colored
密的白
llama
胶，
robe.
红色的
So
袈
he
裟
had these
也是
two
藏密
colored
白胶，
robes.
也一样穿红
So
色的袈
The
裟。
white robe belongs to the white sect or Kagyupa,
耶
and the
稣来
red
到一
robe
条
also
河，
belong to the white sect.
有一位
So
施洗的约
Jesus
翰
went to a river,
帮他施洗。
and there was
耶稣
someone
讲
that helped him
现在
bathe
我
and
是要
clean.
施洗的约翰来给我施洗。
Oh, God the
施洗的约翰就变成
got baptized, and John, who gave the baptism to
耶稣的
him,
咕噜，
became
帮
his
他做
guru.
洗礼。
So he
那时
baptized
候
him.
天门打开，
At that time, the heaven's gate
这个
opened,
上主讲了一句话：
and God said,
这是我喜爱的，这
"This
是我
is
的
my
神子，
beloved,
我的儿子，
God's
我
son,
所喜爱的。
my beloved."
我清清楚楚到现在，我明白，
Until now, I'm very clear
伊利亚施洗的约翰的前世
that
就是
Elijah
伊利亚，
baptized
耶
John
稣本身的前世
in the
就
past
是
life,
他的弟子伊丽莎。
and Jesus was Eliza, which was
世
Elias'
界上
disciple.
知道这一段，
On earth, there are only very few people know about this.
几乎没有轮回，不是上天堂就是下
So in Christianity nowadays, there's no reincarnation. You either go to heaven or go to hell.
也转世
But
到新约里面来。
But the figures in the old books of Bible reincarnated to be figures in the new books.
三
So
轮即空
Jesus also taught Buddha Dharma, and what Buddha Dharma was it?
右手
Are
做
that
的
the
事
three wheels are
不能让
intrinsically
左手
empty,
知道
that you should
右
not
手做
let
的善事
the left hand knows about all the good deeds that you have done with the right hand.
这表示
So that
归于空，
means that everything
做善事
return to
要
emptiness.
归于空。
That when you do charity or good deeds, everything return to emptiness. So Jesus also taught Buddha
教
Dharma.
里面的佛法，它
So the Buddha Dharma in Tantrayana,
密教里面有很多的师傅，
they
他们
often
有广大的
there are many gurus in Tantrayana that have great transcendent or supernatural power or paranormal power.
所不在。
They can be everywhere, omnipresent.
耶稣曾经这样子讲过，
Jesus once said
是无所不在，
that God is omnipresent. Wherever you are,
他都听得见，
you can pray to Him and He can hear you.
听到你所。
He can hear your prayers, your words.
所以今天我跟大家讲，
So today, I would like to let you know a verse.
你只要真诚的祈祷，
As long as you pray in
就会
sincerity,
得到感恩。
then you would get the response.
我为什么称龙树菩萨？称他
Why did I call Nagarjuna Bodhisattva Avatar? Nagarjuna Bodhisattva.
你们看过电影？
Have you watched the movie Avatar? Avatar.
阿凡达是什么身份？
Avatar. So what is that? An incarnate divine
西
teacher.
方人翻译成为半神人，
So in the West,
他是
It's
介于世俗的，
translated as a half god.
他本身有神性。
So there's the
世俗的人，
the God nature in a mundane
但是
being.
我们有佛性，
So we are also mundane beings, but we have Buddha nature.
这个就是阿凡达了。
So that's avatar. Avatar.
阿凡达了，
Avatar.
非常的重要。
This is extremely important.
它是宇宙的至上意识。
So
我们刚刚这个
it's also the utmost consciousness
他讲，
of the universe. Like just now, the Professor Zhu
至上
said,
意识
the utmost consciousness
变成有形，
and the formless
哎，无形
combined
变成
become the form.
觉得很奇怪。
Isn't that strange? How come the formless
本来就没有，
become
变成
forms?
有形？
Because formless
我
was
现在请问你，
non-existent before.
我们读过物理、化学的，就知道这个
So,
有
but
原子
if you have studied physics, you would
有
know.
质子、有电子。
So there are
请问
atoms
你，你看得到中子吗？
and ions
你
and
看得到电子吗？你看得到质子吗？
electrons and
看得到
the
原子吗？
protons and but can you see them?
你看得到吗？
Everything inside the
哪位看得
atoms?
到的举手。
So if you can see it, please raise your hand.
没有人举手，表示大家都看不到。
But nobody raised their hands. That means you cannot see them, right? Maybe only
查
XX
查好厉害哦
can see it.
看场电影哦，哎，电影很精彩啊。他既然累垮了，就睡着了。
And X went to see a movie. The movie was good, but she fell asleep.
电影结束了，他醒过来，
And then she woke up at the end of the
别
movie,
人问他，
and
是不是
the one who accompanied her asked,
你既然在
"This was such a wonderful
你不要小看我，
action-filled movie. How come you fall asleep?" And she said, "Oh, please don't undermine me. I've went to the planets."
这个什么火星探测器到火星去造了，
So really, the U.S. doesn't have to
造
send
了好几年才
the shuttles to go to Mars and to orbit several
就可以
rounds.
到外星球。
But our XX could just go to the planets
要不要
in the
来
movie
要不要来
theater.
测验
So, but let me tell
测
you,
验啊
should we
很
test
简单
her?
告诉你
What kind of test?
我
Let
们不
me.
是常常玩这个
It's
骰
very
子吗
simple. we often play the dice,
3个骰子，
like 3 dice.
那个赌神啊，赌圣
And
啊
the gamble god
出来，
gets out and you place the cup with the dice inside it.
好，谁讲通灵？
So if you have the paranormal power,
里面是几点？你通灵啊？你超了
so
力
let
量
me tell you what are the
来做
numbers.
实验吧。
So if you have paranormal power, then let's
你如果
Let's
3
test
次
this.
都准，
So if you are accurate 3 times,
安尼对不对？
then you really have paranormal power.
啊那无准呢？鼻也蒙嘞，面孔烟住，打赛克，从旁边出去。
But if you
说
fail,
你是通灵人，
then you can just scoot
通
out.
灵人就是你必须要能够知道，做实
So
验
if you
测
have
得出来，
the paranormal power, then you would be able to pass that. So you said that you went to the Mars.
你是不是真的？
That's
我告诉你哦，问你一件事情，通灵人，你是说你是通灵？好，
so. But you said that you have this paranormal power. Let me ask you.
一共有几艘能够作战的海军的军舰？你给我回答出来。马上可以实验的，你回答一共有几支军舰？目前几点几分在左营金港里面的海军的军舰一共有几艘？一艘
So
都
we
不能
can
少。
also ask like how many of the battleships
通灵看看，
in a certain place, and you have to be
如果
accurate.
准啊，
So if you have that power, then you can be accurate. So let me ask again that in the People's Republic of China, the same, like how many
多少的中共的军舰在那里？
the military ships there.
格的，统统滚蛋！
So if you fail that test, then you should just scoot out
将来我看到叉叉哦，
and get out of here. In the future, when I see XX,
通灵人
let me tell you that you fake your supernatural power. We can just simply do a competition. Very simple.
比什么啊？
What should we compare?
请问你比什么？我暂时还没有想出来。不过很简单，
So what should we compare?
实验
But with a simple tests, I can tell if you're fake or you're a real one. She often said that she can talk to all the animals, every animal, all kinds of animals.
他就是不能跟人讲话。
But she cannot talk to a human being.
这日本人来了，他不能跟他讲话
Like she cannot talk to a Japanese.
，because 日本語这头头わからん。
Because she cannot understand Japanese.
わかる是知道，わからん是不知道。
Wakaru means understand. Wakaranai means you don't understand.
わからん，
So she doesn't understand Japanese at all.
所有动物都可以讲话。
So she cannot talk to human beings, but she can talk to the animals. How can you believe that? Spanish?
Hola, amigo, te quiero mucho.
Hola, amigo, te quiero mucho.
你碰到西班牙人，你也不能讲话。
So you
都不
can
能
talk
讲，你可以跟所有的动物讲
to the
话。
Spaniards. So you can't even talk to different people. How can you talk to the
当然
animals?
是规则，没有办法。
That's total nonsense.
哎，我讲龙树菩萨讲到哪里去了？
I was talking about Nagarjuna, and where have I gone? I've gone
龙
in
树菩
tangent.
萨妙音自在王佛
So Nagarjuna Bodhisattva, the Tathagata of the marvelous cloud self-mastery king,
所讲的，
just now, like in the Kung Fu novels,
这个叫什么？武侠小说里面有
what is this
讲
called?
到，一个人跟一个人讲话，但是别人听不到的。
So
小
like
说里面叫
someone speaks or talks to another someone, but without other people hearing it. So you can
他跟我
just transport the sound without anybody else hearing it.
500年
And he said, 500 years
莲华生大士
as a period,
莲华生大士是释迦牟尼佛灭后
it
出生
started from Guru Padmasambhava, because Guru Padmasambhava was born after Sakyamuni Buddha entered into Parinirvana. So 500 years after Guru Padmasambhava, that's the birth of Nagarjuna Bodhisattva.
龙树菩萨后500年
And then 500 years after Nagarjuna Bodhisattva,
是那罗巴尊者出生，
that was the birth of Naropa.
应该在比他之前的，也就是地瓦巴。
And before Naropa, that was the birth of Virupa.
是那罗巴
And then Naropa.
莲华生大士，
Guru Padmasambhava,
这个龙树菩萨
Nagarjuna Bodhisattva, Virupa,
那罗巴，
and then Naropa,
再来是中科巴，
and then Tsongkhapa,
再来是
and then Sengyenlu.
五
So about 500 years.
千
And for total, for about 2,600 years.
他偷偷这样子跟我讲哦，你要想一想哦，
So he secretly told me this.
当然不会那么准是500年。
Of course, not exactly 500 years, but about 500 years.
莲华生大士、
Guru Padmasambhava,
龙树菩萨、
Nagarjuna,
毕瓦巴、
Virupa,
那罗巴、
Naropa,
中卡巴
Tsongkhapa,
到卢胜念，
and then Sengyenlu.
相隔接近500年。
That's about 500 years between each.
这个就是真正的传承。
That's the true lineage.
哎，莲华生大士，你知道吗？
Do you know
达
Guru Padmasambhava was
莲花院化身的一个
born from a lotus on the Dhanakosha
真正的
ocean
莲花庄
or Dhanakosha lake. He was a true lotus-born, lotus youth, Padmakumbhara, that was born from a lotus.
那我昨天我讲
Yesterday,
尊
I have said, Grandmaster Lu,
在瑶池金母给我开了天眼以后，
after Golden Mother opened my divine eye,
当天晚上
that evening, that night,
天游天上经，
I traveled throughout all the heavens. I went back to Mahatwin Lotus Ponds,
传音入密，
and Golden Mother secretly told me
莲花
That's Padma Kumara.
他指着那个
She pointed to a bright glob of light and said, "That's Padma Kumara, lotus youth or lotus born,
非常的闪亮，
with no form. It's just
这
pure
一段事实，
light that's bright
今天在
and
人间
radiant, shining."
最大的原动力。
And that's my biggest motivating factor in my Dharma propagation.
今仔日我伫遮吼，那我讲的这瑶池金母带去看我的前世，莲花童子，你前世是莲花童子，
And Golden Mother
清楚了。
told me that that was your past
在
life.
我耳边讲莲花童子，
Look clearly,
看
see
清楚了。
that was your past life.
如果这个是我活
And I saw it clearly. If I
兰花，
fabricated this,
如果是荷兰，
in Taiwanese Holan,
我昨天没有发誓什么，
if I was making it up, I did not
雷轰顶，
vow yesterday, but now I vow
永
if
超生。
it was a lie, then I would rather be struck by the thunder, fall into hell,
常常是
and never to get out of it.
敢不敢发誓？
So, X, where were you from?
雾
Do
雷
you
轰
dare
顶
to make a vow?
永触
Struck by the five thunders and fall into hell without ever getting out of it. I dare to say it today. This is extremely important.
我们谈谈龙树菩萨的中观吧。
But now let's talk about Nagarjuna's Madhyamaka.
我们也可以修龙树菩萨的念诵法。
So we can also practice Nagarjuna deity yoga because we have his mudra.
说法印、
That's the Dharma teaching
转
mudra,
法轮印、转
or the Dharma
转法轮印。
Dharma wheel, turning the Dharma wheel
这两只
mudra.
手，我做给大家看。
So let me form it for you to see.
这是内转法轮印，外转法轮。
So that's the inner turning of the Dharma
还
wheel,
有龙树菩
outer
萨
turning of the Dharma wheel
的转
mudra,
法轮印
and also the special mudra of Nagarjuna.
差不多就是转法轮。现在你们所看到的龙树菩萨
So
就是
that
转法轮。
what the statues or the statue that you see today
它的咒语
is forming the mudra of turning the Dharma wheel and the mantra.
那加中嘛，菩提萨埵说哈，宇宙的至上意识，大智慧的龙
So
菩萨，
the utmost consciousness of the universe, the one with the greatest wisdom, Nagarjuna, and let it be accomplished. That's the meaning of the mantra. Naga means dragon,
印度的一个树，
and Arjuna,
那
Juna, is the name of a
印度有一种
tree.
树叫做周那，
In India,
加
there's
周那是
a
龙
tree that's called Jana.
嗡，宇宙的至上意识，
So
智
Om,
慧的
the utmost consciousness of the
菩
universe,
提萨埵，
Nagarjuna with the greatest wisdom,
龙树菩萨
Bodhisattva, Nagarjuna Bodhisattva,
成就一切。
and Amin, or let it all be accomplished. That's his mantra.
那你会不会观想龙树菩萨？
So do you know how to visualize Nagarjuna?
很简单，
Very simple.
像佛陀一样的，
He looks like a Buddha,
在收走，在转法轮。
like the Buddha,
那么他头上
and
特别
form
不一样
the mudra of the turning the Dharma wheel.
7条龙，
But above his head is very special, 7 dragons or 7 nagas with different colors.
圆满的意思。
And 7 means perfect, perfect.
哎，7怎么圆满？
Why 7 is perfect?
我们一个
Very
礼拜有
simple.
7天，
In 1 week, we have 7 days.
没有第8天，没有啊。
There's
当然就是圆满。
not the 8th day. So 7, of course, is
为
perfect.
什么有7条龙？因为它圆
Why?
满成就，所以有7条龙。
Why he's accompanied by 7 dragons? Because he's perfect and
你看，
have attainments.
旧约圣经里面创世纪，
So in Genesis of the old
上
books
帝
of
啊
Bible,
创造天地，
God created heaven and
第
earth,
1天到第6天，
and
第7
he
天
did
的
it from the first to the 6th day, and he rested on the 7th day, and there was no 8th day.
第1天
First day
一直创造了6天，
he created until the 6th day, and on the 7th
到了第7天，他
day
就休息。
he rested.
所以今天我们周休2日，
So nowadays you have 2-day weekends.
或者是
You rest for 2 days.
我还是2天呢，对不对？周休2日也是2天呢。这个
So
人呢
however you say
就已
it,
经偷懒，
you take break for 2 days. So
上
that
帝都没
means
有偷懒，
you're slacking
人
off.
居然偷懒。
See, God did not slack off, but people are slacking off these days.
我一个
If
礼拜啊
it
做7天，
were me, I would work 7 days a week. I'd never slack off.
我要更精进的。
I want to be more diligent
天部论主啊，
because Nagarjuna
写了1000
was the
部啊
guru of 1,000 treatises.
论主是赞扬他的
He's written
写得
1,000 of
非常
them.
多他学问非常好的，
He was truly knowledgeable.
谁能比得上龙树啊？
Who can compare to Nagarjuna?
密八宗之这个祖师，
He was the patriarch of the 8 schools of both Mahayana and Tantrayana.
没有人
Who could compare to him?
八宗
No one in
龙
Buddhism.
树菩萨这么大的菩萨，
That Nagarjuna Bodhisattva is a great Bodhisattva, a guru of the 8 schools. And in his past, he was the Tathagata of the marvelous cloud self-mastery king.
观想
And then we have visualization, mudra, and mantra
做成一个仪轨，
that would comprise the deity yoga.
到这个
And just now, you also saw
所演出来的啊，一个海上
on the
变
screen
成莲花，
the
它
ocean
中心有
and lotus, and at the center there's sun and moon disk,
又
and how it transformed into Nagarjuna.
成莲花，
The pang sit syllable transformed to become
变
lotus,
成龙树菩萨，
and sit syllable transformed to become Nagarjuna.
三光加倍，
And then the empowerments of the 3 lights upon yourself.
进了
Once you're purified,
啊，进到你心中的莲花，
then you can invite Nagarjuna to enter into your own heart, on the lotus at your heart. Once he enters into you and you're in union with him, in the split of a second you become Nagarjuna, and Nagarjuna is you, and you are
变
Nagarjuna.
成了八宗之主，
Then you yourself become the patriarch or the guru of the 8 schools, and then you also become the Buddha of the marvelous cloud with self-mastery king.
最主要的就是跟龙树菩萨合一。
So in our spiritual cultivation, the most important thing is to be in union with Nagarjuna.
对你来讲有什么
The
意义？
reporters earlier asked
我
me,
说
so
我正在写
how
龙树菩萨
Nagarjuna
的精神，
what Nagarjuna means to you? And I replied, I am learning his
告
spirit.
诉你啊，我们
So let me
道
tell
教的
you,
老子
Lao Tzu in Taoism,
你
was remarkable. Never did you
还讲
think
了一句话：
that he spoke this statement.
恍惚中有物，
So
就是动物的物，
seemingly,
恍惚中有物，这物是什么啊？
amidst the fuzziness or
那请问
mistiness,
大家物是什么？
but inside it there are things.
好，图腾西地望着我。
So, since Tutang City is looking at me, now please stand up.
这物是什么啊？
What is the thing?
你要开口讲话，不管你讲的对不对，
Just say
总
something.
之你要开口讲话，
Doesn't matter
你不能一直
whether it's right or
嘴
wrong.
巴要打开。
You should not just look, you should also open your mouth. Say something.
讲话，
Please say something.
讲话，
Please say something.
好，请你讲大声一点。
Please say loudly.
活性
Buddha nature.
，very good。
Very good.
以后你要说谎，就是要讲大声一点。
In the future,
噼噼唰
if you give Dharma teaching, you should talk louder. You shouldn't be
老子
scared.
也那么厉害啊！
So Lao Tzu was remarkable. He said
之
that
中有物啊，
seemingly
中观就是这样。
or in a haze,
有
there
中
are
观的道
things.
理里面
So Madhyamaka is also like this.
出来，
So
中观是一种思
you find the thing
中观当中
of the Madhyamaka. So Madhyamaka is a
我讲
viewpoint, a concept, and you have to find the thing.
古代
So in my book,
起火嘛，
I have written an
是
analogy.
木头，然后
In the ancient time, there is
用
you
手
create fire
转到那个
by
点到了，
by rubbing or rubbing a wood. So, and you continually to rub until eventually the fire is ignited. That's also how we ignite our inner fire
我问你，
or tumor.
火
So let me ask you.
在这个钻木起火的人，这个人的手上
So is the fire
手上有没有火？
on the hand of the person who is
对
rubbing
不对？
the wood or turning the wood?
他手上
No,
没有火。
there is no fire
钻
on
木
his
上有
hand.
火吗？
Is it on the wood? No.
那么是在这个木头上里面有火吗？
Is it on the pointed wood or on the wood that the pointed wood's
那火
rubbing
从哪里
against?
来？
Then the fire is not anywhere. So where did the fire come from?
好，现在问上师了。
Now let me ask the masters. If I call on your name, please stand up.
谁在看我？
Okay, let me see who's looking at me.
怎么每个人都不敢看我啊？
Now nobody dare to look at me.
那我叫慧晶站起来。慧晶啊，
So
站起来。
Hui Jin, please stand up. Now
我
let me
问你，
let me ask you,
火从哪里来？
where did the fire come from?
火从空性来，
From the emptiness, empty nature.
18000里呀、
That's a
不
great.
是根本，不
It's
是我的答案，
far off.
是你自己的答案。
That's not basic, and that's not my answer.
火要从活性来，
So the fire comes from Buddha nature, from emptiness, from sunyata.
你讲了也算是麻麻的。
Yeah, maybe so.
告诉大家，
But let me tell you,
从缘分来，
it came from causes and conditions, from affinity, from the conditions.
手跟转目跟目
So the hand
这样子
and
合一，
the rubbing
才转出火。
wood and then the block wood and then the combination of these three, and by rubbing it the fire
他讲的
appears. So that's affinity.
性空，
So what she said about emptiness is it, at the beginning the start was emptiness,
到了
like
缘
the space or the sky, that was emptiness.
均上师，
And when the affinity or the causes and conditions mature,
出生一个
then
上师
Master Huijin appears. Then Master Huijin was born.
吃冰激凌，
But because you love
吃成这样，
ice cream and you ate until you have this figure now,
所以那天呢，你跌倒啊，你就爬不起来。
so the other day when you fell, you could not get up. Grandmaster, when Grandmaster fell, I could still get up. But Master Huijin, when he
好像是
fell, he could not get up on her own.
乌龟啊，被翻起翻
It was like the turtle
翻身呐，
at the back
两脚在那边。
of his shell,
师母好意啊，去扶他起来，
and Sumo was trying to lift her up.
去今年尿气。那今了去加去今年尿气啊，你无吼滑倒吼就真赞啦。还是大家齐心合力打会劲这样子。
It's like a skinny cat was trying to eat a fat
结
rat.
果大家都没有替他难过，反而
And then finally she got up,
笑呵呵。
and nobody felt bad for her. Instead, everybody laughed heartily.
到我都好笑。
I didn't see it, but when I heard it, I found it funny too.
因果啊，因缘呐。
That's cause and effect, causes and conditions. So you are what you eat, and you love to eat the pig's feet.
告诉大家，缘起
So let me tell
龙
you,
树的中观，
that's the start of the affinity. And Nagarjuna's Madhyamaka
记的时候
is like this.
印度
At the 6th century in India, the Yogacara was popular.
探讨佛性
And Yogacara was also discussing Buddha nature
舌身意
from the 5 aggregates
阿赖耶
of the 6 senses: eyes, ear, nose, tongue, touch, mind, consciousness, and alaya,
龙树
which
菩萨是横的，
embed the Buddha nature.
以种种的观念
That's depth. And Nagarjuna is horizontal or broad.
那时候印度的唯识学说非常的盛行，
So at that time,
那时候有两位，一位是
the Yogacara school was very popular.
伯父
And at that time, there were 2
辩
gurus. One is Buddha Palita, and the other one is Bivaveka,
及提婆的学说，
who commented on Nagarjuna's and Aryadeva's commentaries.
轻便的是
And they created
中观
Buddha Palita, founded Prasangika Madhyamaka, and Bivaveka founded the Sautantrika Madhyamaka.
是破而不立，主张一
In my book, I wrote that Prasamika is that it's not established on the emptiness, but it uses the
轻便的中观自系派是破而依立，主张以因明中的比量，积极的表述空性，也就是佛性。
So one is use logic to determine the emptiness, and the other one is use comparison, which is also part of logic.
我再讲一个啊，我跟记者这个采访的记者讲，什么是常？什么叫做常？
I was talking to the reporters, what is
我们人体
permanence or perpetuality,
常常这样子想，你常常这样子想，
perpetual, like our bodies. You should often
是
think
不灭的，
that my soul
转世轮回转
is
一直在转，
perpetual, perpetual. It's always reincarnated, rebirth and rebirth is continuum.
这个世间
So that's permanence or continuum. And some people think that the world exists
汽车是
and the houses are forever, the cars, the diamonds are forever, and human beings also forever. And that's called the perpetuity
那
or
么什么叫
permanence.
做断？有人主张
And what is the
我
temporary
死了，
or breakage or stoppage
然后我就没有
or
了，
impermanence? Like when I die,
我也不会转世
everything
了，
stops.
我不承认有
I will not be
有这个
reincarnated.
有活菩萨
I don't
有
believe
神
in
啊有
Buddhas,
鬼有
Bodhisattvas, gods, spirits, ghosts, that I'm gone when I
这个
die.
叫做断。
So that's stopping
龙树菩萨的中观
or
就是
breaking.
介于
And Nagarjuna's Madhyamaka
之间
is
的
between
中道。
the perpetuity and the breakage or
其实我
stopping.
们讲，我们现在
And that's the
世俗
middle
的人
way. Like for us, as mundane beings, Grandmaster got married,
没
have
有小孩，
has a wife
那就是
and
世
children.
俗
That's the mundane life.
师尊本身呐、他的心灵呐、超越了世
But
俗，
Grandmaster's spiritual life, I mean spiritual self, transcended the
我比这个
mundanity.
世俗的所谓的见，更加的超越这个世俗。
So I went beyond the mundanity.
虽是世俗，释迦牟尼
Although
佛也是这样子。
I dwell
释迦牟尼
in
佛
the
的
mundanity,
就是也是
like Sakyamuni Buddha. Sakyamuni Buddha's wife was called Yasudhara,
拉夫拉。
and they give birth to a son called Rahula.
啊，以前声音不管对不对，就叫做罗吼罗，
And the Chinese translation is Lolo.
变成拉呢，就是拉夫拉，拉夫拉。
So
他也没有
it's
孩子，
Rahula.
但是他超
So
越了
the
世俗，
Buddha had the son,
出家了，
but he transcended the mundanity.
这一条道路，
He became a monk.
是他也过了。
So he had lived the mundane life, and then he also lived the enlightenment life.
世俗，度世
And
间，
once he had attainment, he came back
你已经超越了
and
世
saved the mundane beings.
世俗这边来，
So you abandon the mundanity, but
这
after
个就是中道。
attainments, he returned to the mundanity to save the beings. So that's Madhyamaka.
证悟了，
Why?
但是他又回到
Because
世俗来
he had walked on the outer worldly path and he was enlightened. And then he returned to the mundanity to save sentient beings. So he did not
没
abandon
有离开空，
substantialism or existentialism
这个就是
or emptiness or
就
nihilism.
是中庸的
So he embraced both, and that's the middle way of Madhyamaka. So just now I set an I give an example of the fire that was ignited by rubbing the woods. Sakyamuni Buddha often said, like that fire, that everything arises due to the causes and conditions, and everything ceases due to the causes and conditions. And the nature, at the start, they are all emptiness. So if you realize the empty nature and Buddha nature, and then you get rid of all the causes and conditions, all the karma, then you would be able to see Buddha nature. So that's the viewpoint of Nagarjuna. So let me give you another example. When we were in elementary school, we performed this test. So you take a piece of paper and then you use the magnifying glass to focus the sun rays, and then you focus this to one point and place that point on the paper, and after a while the paper would be on fire. So the same question here. So is the fire on the sun rays? No, the sun rays don't have fire. So is the fire on the magnifying glass? No. Is the fire on the paper? No. So where did the fire come from? Because of the paper, the magnifying glass, and the sun rays, and the causes and condition of these three that cause the fire to appear. So all the substantialism, all the materials that exist in this world come from the causes and conditions. Like look at the earth. It's the same. It's going through formation, existence, deterioration, and emptiness. And look at human beings. Like I said yesterday, I have a photo of me, nude, that I haven't shown you when I was born. If you see it, then you would be able to see the peanut-like little bird. But that was Sangyen Lu. At that time, I didn't take much pictures. Like in elementary school and junior high school and senior high school, I just have photo of my student IDs, college and graduation. So I probably only have 5 or 6 photos, but they were all Sangyen Lu. And now the one seated here on the Dharma throne is also Sangyen Lu. So which one is the real Sangyen Lu? There is no Sangyen Lu. So this affinity that was from the past, but the one here today is also an affinity. But one day, when he doesn't give Dharma teachings anymore, he doesn't write anymore, and his elements already dissipate, who is Sangyen Lu then? None. So the affinities come from emptiness, and at the end we all return to the Buddha nature, to the empty nature. So all material things are like this: cars, houses, real estate properties, anything anything is this way. Nothing is permanent. The only thing that is permanent is the Buddha nature and empty nature. So today, Nagarjuna told us what is permanence, what is eternal life. If you can truly confirm the empty nature and you comprehend the Buddha nature, you're enlightened already, that you have reached the enlightenment realm, then only then you can truly attain Buddhahood. So this is the Nagarjuna's way to attain Buddhahood through Madhyamaka, to comprehend, to recognize the Buddha nature. And because of that, he was like cloud in the sky with total ease and mastery. That's why he's called the Tathagata of the marvelous cloud self-mastery king. King of self-mastery. If you recognize the Buddha nature, then you would have that self-mastery. You would be totally at ease. Like Jesus said, if someone take your coat or your jacket, then you can give him your underwear too. If someone takes away my lama skirt, I will give you my underwear too. So Jesus said that. So Jesus did say that. If someone slapped your right face, then you can give him the left face too, the left cheek. Strange, why did Jesus say that? That's mine. What belongs to you? Anything? So Master Lian Yan was looking at me. So stand up. What thing belongs to you? Self. Come on, that's wrong. So you don't go bad? Then how could that yours? Are you sick? Life is yours. But you will die. So how could that belong to you? So you are more stupid than Tutansiddhi. So what belongs to you? Nothing. That will be the right answer. Please sit down. But let me tell you, nothing belongs to you. Nothing is yours. Nagarjuna told us that. So if you lose money, there's no need to be sad. So if you don't use it, someone else will use it. Is there anything to be sad about? So someone that got the money will be able to use it. So if you lose some money and then it's picked up by someone else and then used by them, it's fine. So what's the difference between you using the money and someone else using the money? If you can be at ease and at peace like this, then you would be like the marvelous cloud king of self-mastery Buddha, or the lotus light self-mastery Buddha. So that's the Buddha Dharma of the Buddha. It's the same of Buddha Dharma of the Nagarjuna. We all come from the affinity, and we all will return to emptiness one day. Don't think that whatever Grandmaster is wearing now, wow, this is the ruby, and there's the engrave of Grandmaster's name, Seng Yen, and also in English, Seng Yen Lu. So this is a very expensive ruby, and this was given to me by Master Lien Xing of Hong Kong. Where is she? So she had this made for me. And then here, Grandmaster also has a huge ruby, 29 carat. And who gave this to me? The princess of the Saudi Arabia, and also the president of Greenland Company. Please stand up. Dharma Sister Kun Yin. Why do Grandmaster want to wear them? If I don't, they would be unhappy. Master Lien Xing, Dharma Sister Kun Yin would be unhappy, right? So I have to wear them for them. I have to wear the rings for them. And sometimes I have to take turns, because if they give something to me and I don't wear them, they would ask, why aren't you wearing them? So I wear them to give happiness to other people, not for me. Because for me, they're like nothing. I view them as nothing. And the seat of the ruby, the ring, was made by my translator Hanifa. So she took this 29 carats ruby and went to a jewelry shop and had a ring made for it. And the owner said the ruby was a real one. Had it been without marks and clean and transparent, a 29 carat ruby, it would have been 100 million NT dollars. So let me tell you, but all rubies always have imperfections, and there's some cracks, and but when I wear it, nobody can tell that it's about to break, that it has some imperfections. So I just think that it's 100 million and you would be happy knowing it. And you're happy yourself and other people are happy, everybody's happy, everybody's at ease, and have mastery over themselves. Then that's the view of Madhyamaka, that everything is false. They are not real, but they are also real. Why? Because something that you never thought of. You think that this flower is beautiful and you pick it. And then you give it to your girlfriend. And this flower symbolizes my heart. And the girlfriend is happy. But you know, it's horrible. As soon as you pick the flower, the rose, it would cry out, ouch, it's painful.
植物是有生命的，
Because plants also have lives. Don't think that by eating vegetables, by being vegetarian, that you don't kill.
把一个这个萝卜啊，从坑里面给它拉
So when you pull out a carrot,
孩子想，哎呀，我死啊！
it would cry out, ouch,
啊，你吃斋啊？
because you are vegetarian
所以
and you
姑且
eat
菜是什么
veggies.
菜
So what kind of veggie is good for the blood?
红菜根啊，
Beet.
所以含铁质的菜是什么菜？
And what vegetable has the most
大家
iron?
知道了
Spinach.
大力水手，
As we know, Popeye,
大力水手，菠菜
spinach.
都是有生命的。
They all have lives.
当你把菠菜这样子拉起来，
When you pull out
哎呀
a bunch of spinach, it would cry out,
当你
oh
砍掉一
no,
个树
I'm
枝，
dead. When you cut off a
烧
branch,
柴砍掉一个树
I
枝，
need a burning wood,
那个树枝会痛啊，
and you
哎
chop
呀
off a branch,
手被断了，
the branch would be in pain. Oh no, my arm is broken off.
他的脚就断了。
Or you chop the root, and then his leg is
我来告
broken.
诉你哦，
So let me tell you,
你不要以为这些石头没有生命，
don't think that the rocks have no
任
lives.
何一个矿物质全部都是有生命的，
Even all the
它们
minerals,
都是有磁场
they
的。
all have lives. They all have magnetic fields.
啊，我最近看到那个台湾的电视广告，
Recently, I saw an ad
有没有？
in Taiwan.
他把那个砍成一半，把它砍成一半，用电锯啊，用什么东西把它砍成一半。
The powerful,
告诉你，你如果懂得科学的，
and
你
they
来
cut
测验
off
那么大块的磁场
a
来
huge
旋
rock.
转，
And then, if you
它
understand
就消失了一半，测
that
成小的。
there's a huge magnetic field of the rock,
任何一个
but
宝
if you
石
cut it
任何一个金
in
属
half,
任
then
何一个
the
金
magnetic
属
fields become half.
稀物质
So all the rocks
通通都是有
and
生命的，
metals and minerals,
不是强
everything
就是
have
弱而已
lives. So not just the flesh and blood.
啊，现在很多人
Huh?
在
That
戴这个有磁场的手环，
so many people would
磁场
wear
的东西
bracelets and
辅助
rings
自己本身的命
with magnetic fields to help
有
with
人
your
这样
own
做
lives
有人这样
or
做
health.
有道理吗？
Does
有
it make sense?
不
Yes.
是没有道理，但是力量
But
它的大
the
跟
power
小还有
is
很多都是
it
假的
depends because many of them are also fake.
这个全部都是缘起呀、
So they're
所以我们
all
讲六道轮回
affinities or the start of affinities. So if we talk about the 6 rebirth realms, that's wrong. We should say 8 rebirth
据
realms.
我所知道的，包括了矿物，
So it should include
包括了植物，
the world of the plants and the world of the
轮
minerals.
回才是正确的。
Then the 8 rebirth realms would be accurate.
人
But people only focus on the 6 realms.
畜生
So the heavens, Azura, human animals, hell, hungry ghosts. But you add the plants and the mineral realms. So 8 rebirth
真正
realms.
用仪器来测，
If you use the equipment to test, the instrument to test,
他就用仪器
Qiao
来
Penjian
测
of Japan tested the
现在科
plants.
学更发达，
And now
用仪器
the
来测
science has progressed and they can test the minerals with instruments.
八道轮回，
So I say 8 rebirth realms, and in the future you would know
矿物跟植物
minerals and plants, they all have lives.
告诉大家，所有
So let me
一切
tell
都
you,
是非真，
everything is
所有的
not
一切也是非假。
true, but it's also not false.
所以龙树菩萨的宗
So
说，
the Madhyamaka of Nagarjuna says
皆是如是。
that everything is this, everything is like this.
中论里面有提到，
In the Madhyamaka Karika, it mentioned
善名
that
为
it starts with the causes and conditions,
言而起，言起为中道。
and
结论是，
the affinity is the middle way.
菩提萨埵，菩萨
So if there
能
is
够
a bodhisattva
了生
that can comprehend the non-rising, the non-ceasing,
必如
and the affinity and the causes and conditions,
日除暗斑，
so it's like the 5
无明
aggregates destroying all
我
the
们众生啊，
and all ignorance destroyed, and that you can
就
attain
是活在
Buddhahood.
这个境界里面。什
So
么境界？
all the human beings live in this realm. The realm of what? The realm that if it's not true, it's false. If it's not real, it's unreal.
但也
But let me tell you, it's
是
neither
因为缘起
true nor false. It's just due to the
你
affinity.
缘灭的时候啊，
When the affinity is gone, everything will return to emptiness.
你有修行，
If you cultivate spiritually, when the affinity ceases,
里面
then you would
你就是
return to the empty nature.
就是永恒，
Then you would
就是无
become
限的力量。
the able one, eternal,
龙树菩萨，
and you would be infinite. And then you would be Nagarjuna,
也是
and you would be Asvaghosha,
上主，
and you would be the high
与
guru.
上主合一，你就是上主，你就是至上意识。
So when you merge with the utmost consciousness, then you would be the Yidam, you would be the Buddha.
只要你领悟了、开悟了，
Once you have gained
把
enlightenment,
自己人间的善恶言全部通通都
and
停止，
then you stop all
善
your
恶业全部通通都消失，
affinities, good or bad, in the world,
你就
and you eradicate them all, then you have attainments.
我问你，
Then you are a
地
Siddha.
球上有没有人啊？
See, I often ask this question. Are there people on the moon? Let me see who's looking at me.
没有人看我，
Nobody.
然后问师母好了，
So let me ask Simu.
月球上有没有人啊？
Are there people on the moon?
师母讲，月球上没有人。
And Simu replied, there are no human beings on the moon.
侦查整个
Because
月球
based on the
最
science,
近的月球，
the moon is closest to the earth and there are no human beings there.
月球
Now let me ask you,
如果你在月球，
if you
月
are
球什么
on
叫
the
做善
moon,
恶？
what is good, what is bad on the moon?
请问月球有善恶吗？
On the moon, is there good or bad?
哎，怎么没有人回答？
How come nobody answers?
哦，没有，
No,
月球没有善恶。
there is no good nor bad on the moon.
月球有什么是素的，什么是荤的吗？
So let me ask you again, on the moon, is there eating meat or eating vegetarian? No.
月球有佛法吗？
On the moon, is there Buddha Dharma?
刚刚喊那么大声的是谁？
Who shouted so loud?
太 刚也是你讲没有啊，是
You
不是？
said no, right?
哎，你怎么不回答？
How come now you didn't answer?
你是讲没有吗？是不是？
Did you say no?
你怎么不回答？
How come now you're quiet?
月球也一样没有佛法。
So
你真正
on the
研究
moon
到
there
最
is no
深的
Buddha
境界
Dharma. So if you study and research to the deepest realm,
舟啊，
that Buddha Dharma is just the
刚
boat
讲得好，
to deliver sentient beings.
法因
In the Diamond Sutra,
非法，
it's written really well that you can
佛法都应该是
abandon or
你真正成
abandon the Buddha Dharma moreover
佛性，领悟了
anything else.
你
So
身上的
once
善恶戒除，
you comprehend the Buddha nature and empty nature, and then you have resolved yourself from all the good or bad karma, then you're eternal
我们现在
in that
修
kind of
所
realm.
谓释迦行，上师相应，本尊
So the preliminary practices, Guru Yoga, Yidam, and then you practice non-leaking, inner fire, light drops. You practice the light, and then you practice the rainbow attainment,
修功高
highest yoga tantra, and then rainbow
等你
attainment.
修成
attainment.
光化身的时候啊，寄身成佛的时候，
Once you attain the rainbow light attainment, and then you attain Buddhahood
在修本
in
尊
this
啊
lifetime, then there's no need to practice the preliminary practice, and then the Guru Yoga or Yidam
也不用再修弥
or non-leaking, inner fire, light drops,
因为你本身
or generating light, because you are light already.
哎，我讲偌久啊，
How long have I talked?
啊，1个半小时哦。那我哪讲
An
到
hour
这
and
里
a half.
我本来讲
I
说
talk
讲
so
50分
much.
钟就好了。
I thought I would just talk for 50 minutes.
告诉大家，一切因缘生哦，
So let me tell you, everything
也会产生东西哦，
comes
我
from
们的心里也会产生。
causes and conditions. Even
就
what
像
we
我们看
think
到酸梅，
or in what's on our
那
mind.
这个也感觉
So when we see the sour
酸
plum,
梅就会老卵。
then you start salivating.
哇，酸梅，
Wow.
哇，这
Just by seeing it,
口水就流出来。
then your saliva is coming out because it's sour.
讲酸，
I love to eat the
吃橘子。
tangerines because it's sour.
讲酸，就是酸。你看到酸梅，你口水会流出
Tangerines.
来。
So when you see the sour plum,
这是
you
心
start
理上的作用
salivating. See, that's what happens in your
心
mind.
灵上的一种作用。
So Buddha
观
Dharma
想的时候，
functions
你的
for the
观想会
mind.
清净
So when you visualize, you purify your
你的口
mind.
就清净
When you recite the mantra, you purify your speech. When you form the mudra, you purify your
就
body.
是用这种三种
So
清
in
净的
Tantric
方法
Buddhism, we use these
修到我们
three
本身的
purity or
恶
purification
业全
to
部清净
practice until all of your karma or affinity, either good or bad, are completely cleared.
你转化的时候，你
Once you're purified, you will
肉体间的
transform.
光明
Then you transform into the light, the clear light of the
叫做
universe.
寄生成就
In Tantrayana, there is attainment in this very lifetime or with this body. So you can have attainments in this body,
有可以中阴成就，
or you can have
变
attainments
成灵魂呐、
after death in the
在融
Bardo
合到
spirit,
本尊里面，
in the Bardo state.
如本尊里面，你得到成就了，这个叫做中阴。
Then you can merge into the deities and have attainments. So that's attainments during Bardo state. So those were all great Buddha Dharma for attainments.
的问男的，这个老问题，你妈妈跟我一起同时漏水，你先会救谁？男的讲，当然是先救你了。你的哇，好感动哦。可是你为什么会先救我呢？男的讲，因为救了你以后啊，水位就会下降，我妈妈就得救了。这是比量，告诉大家，是佛法里面的比量。
This is the
跟你的实在
in Buddhism. Like a lady asks a gentleman why she saved her first, not his mother. And the gentleman said that
老公突然
if I save you, then the water drops, then my mom is safe.
从今以后不再喝酒，便写了一个字寄给老公，上面写酒是我的仇人，老婆是我的。
The man said that I will not drink wine anymore, and the diary says that wine is my enemy, and wife is my lover. And the wife say, if you see your enemy in the future, what will you do? Then when I meet my enemy, I will just give my life.
这是什么样？这也是比量。
What's this? This is also energy.
台中一个男人到了内蒙古的大草原去，
A man from Taichung traveled to Mongolia,
空气太新鲜，
and
质量太好，
he said that wow, the air was so fresh
不了这种干净的环境，
and it's so quiet.
就在这个氧
But
气中
I cannot bear such clean and fresh air and beautiful environment.
病人讲说是从台中来，救护人员赶快将氧气筒的拔管，软
And so
接上了汽车的排气管，
the doctor
吸
gave
了几口，
the doctor gave the man from Taichung oxygen, but
这才
he got worse.
有家乡的味道。
Then since the doctors know that he was from Taichung, then they gave him the pipe of the car.
环境环保，
And once he breathed the dirty air from the car, then he woke up again.
空气那么好，
And he said that, wow, this is the familiar air I used to be with. So yeah, so I can I would like to stay in Taiwan
这个也是比较。
forever. This is also an analogy.
台中
This is
空气很好，
in the past, the air in Taichung was so good, and why it was bad now? Because that's the fire power plant.
这个也是比较。
This is also another example. Zhonghua Telecom,
对话，
they
电话的平均时间，
they calculate
跟男的讲话只有59秒，
like how long people talk to each other. Men the average time men talk to men is 50 seconds, and to mother is
3分钟59秒。你的跟你的讲话，
and lady to lady is 5 hours, 5 hours,
老婆跟老婆讲话，
and husband to wife is 3 seconds.
老婆跟老公讲话，打电话
Wife to husband
14通，他都没有接。
is 44 missing calls. And so this is also another analogy.
Next week is New Year. Oh no, so many people. So many people at the bank. So, and the bank said, I want 200,000 and not enough money. And then I said, how about 100,000? And then the employee replied, we have not that much. And I got angry. It's a huge bank and so many people already here. How come you don't even have 100,000? It's not that the bank doesn't have money. It's because you don't have enough money in your account. So if you don't cultivate spiritually, that means you don't have savings in your account because you don't practice and you don't cultivate spiritually. Then although you may have some insights or some inspiration, but your karma, your retributions are still there. That means you don't have enough savings in your account to go to the better realm. So in our spiritual cultivation, we want to practice to generate the money or the resources to be reborn into the Buddha lands.